எந்த தேவையும் இல்லை. நடப்பதெல்லாம் நடக்கும் போது நடக்கட்டும். எதுவுமே தன்னிலையில் நிற்கும் ஆனந்தத்துக்கு ஈடாகாது. No happening can equal the joy, the fullness of being the very self.
This has the experience of Natya. When we see something, we become one with it. That's depicted in that serial, where she's watching the performance of the sea and she feels herself as experiencing that. And this, in that underwater, he used the shadjam only using different scales and different instruments being added. Only the shadjam being used. So that was the introduction to the sea. And I will present before I go to the finale of Poonja and Lakshmi, I'll present one from K.S. Raghunathan's dance ballet. I had one more, but let me see if time permits. I'll present also L. Krishnan's. This is, I had thought of two sequences which have varied moods in them. It's a progression of the drama, short progression of two dramas. One was Bhagavan Virumbiyadu Yedu. That is the story. This is a composition by Sadhuam Swami, where he says there is this story, he has written this drama or a poetic drama of a man who has a lot of accumulated wealth, he says. So suddenly his wife is surprised. And she says, how come I never knew you had so much wealth with you? Now please hand it over to me. His daughter says, he says, I won't give it to the wife. So the daughter says, give it to me. They are all dreaming of what they can do with the wealth. And then we see, there he has used for the wife, he has used Neelambari. The word are asai. It is all built on the word asai. So asai, the wife's asai, he has made it in Neelambari. And then the daughter's asai comes in Charukeshi. And then these people are running. He's running. He begins to run. He doesn't want to. He says, I won't give in to any one of you. His friend is chasing him. Wife and daughter are chasing him. Suddenly a money lender comes into the picture and says, if you have so much of wealth, let me multiply it for you. And he seems to be worried about all these propositions and he's running. Then they all take him to the king. And he says to the king, I will only reveal my wealth to one who has no asai. And the king thinks about it and he says, I also have asai. I want to conquer kingdoms. I want to become the most powerful king. So ultimately the minister says, let us go to Bhagavan Ramana. And when he goes to Bhagavan Ramana, he opens his mutai of wealth. And what that mutai of wealth is. So the Neelambari, Charukeshi, and for the chase, it is Vanaspati. And Sunada Vinodini, for the king, and ultimately for the revelation, it is Shuddha Danyasi which is being used.
Selvam, Selvam, Selvam.
దని ద దని ద దని ద ద దని దని ద మ ద మ ద మ గ
செல்வம் என்னுடைய செல்வம் சீட்டி வைத்து காத என்னுடைய செல்வம் சீட்டி வைத்து காத என்னுடைய செல்வம் இத்தனை காலமாய் ஈட்டி வைத்து காத்த என்னுடைய செல்வம்
I think it was clear what was the selvam. It was his anger, his greed, he had accumulated anger, greed, jealousy. And actually the story goes on to say that once they see that this is what he has accumulated and somebody wants him to even multiply this and so of course they all say we don't want anything to do with it, and finally Bhagavan Ramana says if nobody wants it then I am willing to take it. I don't want anything which anybody else wants, but if no one wants it then you can give it to me. That's how that episode finishes. I will present also L. Krishnan's clip on the Khanna scene, very interesting scene of a devotee, and how he also to hear his voice on this occasion. He has sung a part of, and he has sung two portions. Now here the voice, we can see how expressive his voice is. One portion, the first is something like a kavali where there's a nach happening. There's this person who is in a drunken state, he's watching this nach, and that is sung by L. Krishnan and Rajkumar as a duet. And then it goes on to the we've cut it short. Actually what happens is the one who is standing, taking charge, the security, that poor man asks his boss for money. He says, I can't give you any money. He says, my wife is ill. Please give me some money, sir. He's actually throwing money around, but he's not ready to give him money. He says, bring me some more drinks. So he goes and comes back and he sees this man is, he is in a state of stupor. He is asleep or drunken stupor. He doesn't know what's happening. There is money strewn everywhere. So the security just thinks, shall I just go away now? Because actually, first of all, there's no money. My wife is ill. She has a small child, Kaikoyande, with her. How will she take care of the baby? Shall I just go away? And he says, no, I can't leave my duty and go away. And that becomes a turning point for that devotee when he wakes up and he sees this man standing guard and looks at the situation in which he had been, and then he becomes inspired towards a spiritual journey and finally finds Bhagavan Ramana as his Sadguru, and then he is used Bhageshri. But you will find that very interestingly, especially that portion in the night where that the security comes and says, shall I go away? I didn't feel like cutting any part of it, but I've made it very short. And the backing, which Rajkumar has practically no backing, because the music, the BGMs were provided by Rajkumar for that. And so the kind of backing also we can see how he is not at all played his role in that, or played his role the best way at that point of time. That's L. Krishna's voice.
வண்ணத்து பூச்சிகளும் நாங்கள் தானே, பூக்களில் தேனையே சுவைத்தே ஆடுவோம் செல்வத்தால், பெரும் செல்வத்தால் பெரும் ஆனந்தம் காணுவோம். ஆஹா வண்ணத்து பூச்சிகளும் நாங்கள் தானே, ஆஹா வண்ணத்து பூச்சிகளும் நாங்கள் தானே. கொண்டு வா மதுரசத்தை.
That's also L. Krishna.
மதுவையும் பணத்தையும் வைத்து விடவா, இங்கிருந்து நான் செல்லவா. போதையிலே இவருக்கு நினைவே இல்லை, கொள்ளை அடித்தாலும் யார் கேட்பது. இந்நிலையில் இவரை விட்டு நான் போவதா, எந்தன் கடமையை நானும் மறந்து செல்வதா. துன்பம் என்னும் முள் ஒன்று தைத்த போது, கண் போல என்னை காக்க காவல் இருந்தானே. எப்படி பார்ப்பது அவனை நான், மதிகெட்ட விலங்காகினேன். குருவுடைய குணம் தன்னை அறிந்தேன் என்றிருந்தேன், அந்த மூடன் மூர்க்கன் நானாகினேன். 1000 நூல்களிலும் அடங்காதும் மகிமை, கவலைக்கு தெரியாது கடல் கொண்ட பெருமை. நான் அல்ப மனிதன், நீயே மகானுபாவன். நான் அல்ப மனிதன், நீயே மகானுபாவன். அஞ்ஞானம் விலக புவியில் நீ தோன்றினாய், நீதானே அருள்மிக்க சூரரானவன், சத்ய பிரகாசத்தின் ஒளியானவன், ஒளியானவன்.
As I said, I'll conclude with the last 2 clips. They are both have been tuned, the songs have been tuned by L. Krishnan, and they have been embellished with the background or the presentation by Rajkumar, the first clip, and the second clip is by Ambika. The first clip presents the experience of Poonja, the devotee called Poonja. He had the anubhava, the nirvikalpa samadhi, when he was a child. He didn't understand it. He went to his mother and asked how he should repeat the samadhi experience. And his mother said, just pray to Krishna. He will answer your prayer and he will give you the experience. So he was doing Krishna Nama Japa in such a way that he would do 24/7, literally almost. He had synchronized it with his breath, in breath and out breath. So that was the Krishna Nama, he would say. And he would get darshan of Krishna, but also he would lose it. So he went to a series of events, led him to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, and he asked him, can you show me Krishna? And he said, well, does your Krishna come and go? Then of what use is a God who comes and goes? So Punja says, okay, this man is not going to help me, I'll help myself. So he goes and meditates. So this is actually a song of yearning. Punja's song of yearning to have darshan of Krishna. And this is followed by a scene from Cow Lakshmi. Cow Lakshmi is asked by the other cows after she sees Bhagavan and comes back. What did you see? Tell us. You all went, because she would go every day to Ramanashramam and go back to the town to her cow shed. So the other cows are asking her, what did you see? So she says, I can't tell you actually what I saw, because I did not see anything other than Ramana. I did not hear anything other than Ramana. I did not feel any sparsham other than his touch. And there was nothing for me other than him. So it's in a way a contrasting experience. Here is a song of yearning, where also Rajkumar has used the Nama as the backing. And there is the fruition, the fullness of Lakshmi's experience, where also the Nama has been used as the backing. These two scenes.
Krishna, 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 Urayadave va Krishna, Kudiyadave va Krishna, 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 என்னுடன் முன்னவே வா கிருஷ்ணா, மடியினில் உறங்கவே வா கிருஷ்ணா, உரையாடவே வா கிருஷ்ணா, குடியாடவே வா கிருஷ்ணா, கிருஷ்ணா 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 கிருஷ்ணா.
ಅವನ ಚೆಲುವ ಮೊಗವನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೇನು ಕಂಗಳು ಕಾಣಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ಚೆಲುವ ಮೊಗವನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೇನು ಕಂಗಳು ಕಾಣಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ಮಧುರ ಧ್ವನಿಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೇನು ಕಿವಿಗಳು ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ಮಧುರ ಧ್ವನಿಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೇನು ಕಿವಿಗಳು ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ಕರುಣೆ ಸ್ಪರುಶವ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೇನು ದೇಹವು ಅರಿಯಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ಪಾದ ಕಮಲಗಳಲ್ಲದೆ ಯಾವ ಚಿಂತೆಯು ಮನ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ರಮಣನಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಅಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೇನು ಎದೆಯನು ಮುಟ್ಟಲಿಲ್ಲ. ರಮಣನೇ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಅಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೇನು ಎದೆಯನು ಮುಟ್ಟಲಿಲ್ಲ. ರಮಣ
Following the last clip, I wanted following the footsteps of Lakshmi. This whole journey of Natya, of music, of dance, is for us to attain that anubhava. And once again, I thank everyone who has been on this journey with me in the last nearly 30 odd years, or maybe 40 years, we can say, from 1982. There are many music directors I could not touch upon today. My humble pranams to all of them as well, and to all the instrumentalists who have been with us in the different recordings. Such a beautiful, enormous contribution which they have made. When we listen to it, we know. So to all of them also my thanks, and my thanks to Rasa for giving me this opportunity to relive all these years and the beauty and the glory of that which is available to us. It's not just a memory, it brings back the Anubhava, it reiterates the Anubhava. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Revati Shankar, one of the teammates from RMCL, who has helped me to edit this presentation and make these numerous clips from each of the ballets of 2.5 hours to 1 minute and 1.5 minutes in a very effective manner. Thank you, Revati. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.